The first situation that I want you to understand about Philip Johnson, who wrote his Darwin on Trial book, as a lawyer, not a biologist. He obviously doesn't have a clue about biology or evolution. However, Barbara Forrest, now this is out of Robert T. Pennock's book, Intelligent Design, Creationism and Its Critics, Philosophical, Theological, and Scientific Perspectives. This is a 2002 book by the MIT Press. It's a Bradford book, 2002. MIT. Barbara Forrest used this information in the Dover trial court to completely decimate the Wizards of Id with their motives. And she has the actual evidence. And it's the most damning thing against Id that I have ever seen. Id meaning intelligent design. ID-iotic argument is what it really is. As science. As religion, I have no argument with it. As science, it's absolutely, miserably a failure. That's what I'm fighting against. I'm not anti-God, I'm pro-science. I am absolutely separating church and state. I agree with the Constitution of our founding fathers in this great free country. To redefine science, to bring in their particular brand of religion, I absolutely am opposed to it. That's why I'm going to delight in showing that reality. Now this is legal reality. The real courts that have the real authority that determine law and truth has destroyed the id movement. It is ID-iotic to continue pretending like this stuff is science. It's not. Nothing Behe wrote is valid anymore. He confessed that. But Philip Johnson, well, Barbara Forrest discusses this. She says, Behe's failure to produce original intelligent design research and to publish on intelligent design in scientific journals proves that publicity, not real scientific accomplishment, is the DI's primary goal. Behe serves a vital function for the organization, but not a scientific one. None of Behe's work is scientific. That's right. In Darwin's black box, none of that is valid. He confessed that. I'll get to that. I know I keep repeating this, but that's important. Behe has to date, as of 2002, he has no peer-reviewed research on intelligent design in any scientific journal. The ideas in his book, Darwin's Black Box, have not been published in a scientific journal either. None of which are about intelligent design. She does a survey in SciSearch using Behe, capital M. It yielded 10 articles in scientific journals. None of them are about intelligent design. He has 5 letters in various science journals, letters to the editors. None of them are more than a page long. He cites no articles bearing his own name in scientific journals that have to do with intelligent design. All he's written is Darwin's Black Box, basically. And it's been destroyed by the evidence in a court of law with a real jury, a real judge, real scientists, and then these wizards of id. He has responses to critics he has a correspondence with science journals, a response to critics concerning peer review, and this is a response to critics that is published on the internet website of a political think tank. This is not scientific publication, however. This is the internet. To date, he has not published anything that we're aware of. Anyway, the utter absence of any scientific publications supporting intelligent design by either Chen and Behe is characteristic of intelligent design as a whole. They searched hundreds of thousands of scientific reports published over several years, they have failed to discover a single instance of biological research using intelligent design theory to explain life's diversity. And the reason that's important is because the Wizards of Id claim that an alternative theory to evolution, which is every bit as valid and scientific, ought to be taught in school. But they don't have anything. They are virtually bankrupt. There's nothing in the literature. This is on page 22 and 23 of Pennock's book, Intelligent Design, Creationism, and Its Critics. So anyway, she discusses Philip Johnson's wedge strategy, which was to publish scientific materials, and they have completely failed to do that. They haven't done anything. And Johnson admits that the wedge strategy has nothing to do with science. Now, this is on page 30. This isn't really, and never has been, about a debate about science. This is what Johnson admitted in 1996. He says this isn't about science, it's about religion and philosophy. Now, when Barbara Forrest presented this in the Dover trial, it completely destroyed their defense, the Wizards of Id defense. It wiped them out. She completely obliterated them, because she subpoenaed all the court documents. And I'll show you an example of how the Wizards of Id cheat, lie, and deceive. It's not a pretty sight. It's really embarrassing. But you'll not see you'll not see Philip Johnson nor Michael Behe discuss that in their updated versions of their books. They remain weirdly silent about their complete trouncing in a real court of law. Very interesting. Anyway, he says, not a single area of science has been affected in any way by intelligent design theory. In actuality, this scientific movement, which seeks to permeate the American academic and cultural mainstream, is religious to its core. It's on page 30 of Pennock. Johnson and his wedge associates are only using science as a facade behind which to stage their revolution to overthrow academic science. That's why I can't stand them. It's dishonest, it's wrong, and they will destroy the country. Keep religion in church and keep science in school. That's the only way we're going to make it with our economy right now. I enjoy the blessings of science. This camera, this video, the computer I upload with, my automobile. I enjoy my light bulbs. Let's keep science where it belongs, and let's keep religion where it belongs. Anyway, that's Barbara. The wedge of truth is no longer able to disguise the religious nature of the wedge strategy. In fact, they even quote the Bible. What we need to do is for God himself to speak. And that's science, they say. It's utterly ridiculous. They call it a new way of thinking and new ideas. No, it's not. It's just warmed over creationism. They prove that in court also. Anyway, that's enough of Pennock. A huge book. Fabulous text. 800 pages. The cool thing is they let the intelligent design people as well as the evolutionists have their discussion together, which is kind of nice. It's kind of neat how that works. I'm going to turn my phone off here real quick. Now, Saving Darwin, this is really an important text. Brand new book, again, just out last month. How to Be a Christian and Believe in Evolution. Carl W. Giberson. Very, very important text. His analysis of the court issue of Dover is so breathtaking. Anyway, on page 112, there are two questions on the table in Dover. Is intelligent design, id, is id something other than creationism? And the other question was, is the book of Pandas and People a creationist book? And he says on page 113, he says, Dover was a disaster for id, and it was. The ACLU established in a variety of ways, and this was a 6 weeks long trial, mind you, a variety of ways that id was indeed a dressed-up version of creationism. Adding salt to the already severe wounds, it emerged that key id people, deeply religious people, in the trial were actually lying and knowingly misrepresenting their case.